Okay, I thought to start with some introduction, some talk. So I invite you maybe to come closer. You can bring your blanket, so you can also share the mats, so you can. But yeah, arrange so you can sit comfortably because we start with the invocation. I'm happy to see you all and to be here again. Last year we've been here, and then Melanie invited us again. Thank you, Melanie, for hosting, inviting, organizing everything. Okay, so we start with the invocation. So you sit upright and maybe you move the flesh of the buttock sideways to expose the bone. So we are on the bone, and release the groin and the roots of the thighs. Okay, if my accent is, you can always ask questions. If anything is not clear because of my speech or because of anything else, you feel free to ask. Okay, so feel the heaviness from the buttocks, from the pelvis, and from there you start to lift. You lift the ribs, the bottom ribs up with the inhalation. And relax your shoulders, take your shoulders down. Okay, and then looking forward, but aim as if you want to see the inside of your skull, the inner space of the skull. So the eyes become like soft and they go inside. And then you can close them. Because if you close them before that, they might still hold some tension. First soften them and then release the upper eyelid completely until it rests on the lower eyelid. And then you can observe the body from within and also using the breath to explore the inner space, the inner cavities, the inner space of the body. And not only explore, but also enlarge with the inhalation. So inhale slightly longer, softer, slower, and feel the movement of the ribs as you create more and more space. And when you exhale, relax your shoulder, relax your upper arms. So the weight of the shoulders going to the hands. Hands are soft. Inhale, charge your spine. Make it the awareness there more sharp. As if you sharpen a pencil, sharpen the awareness of the spine. Exhale, relax, and then inhale into the cervical spine. Extend your neck all the way up. And then relax from the top of the head, the skin of the face, the brain, like a shower of relaxation. Relax your jaws, tongue, throat, shoulders again. And see that you sit stable, but with relaxation. Allow the breathing to settle down. Slow, soft inhalation, slow, soft exhalation. And bring the awareness from the face, which is usually going forward in the face, to the back of the skull. There's like inward, backward movement, receding. And then join your hands in front of your chest. And we chant the invocation. You join me. Yogena Chittasya Pradena Vacham Malam Sharirasya Chavaidhyakena Yopakutam Munina Patanjalim Panjarayanatosmi Avarushakaram Shankachakra Sahasrashirasam Shvetam Pranamami Patanjalim. So inhale, lift your chest again, stabilize, and with exhalation, bow your head down. You surrender the brain to the seat of the heart with gratitude. Always pay the gratitude to the teachers of yoga, especially to our teachers, Guruji and his family. And just feel the joy, the happiness of being ready to practice. And we never take it for granted. We feel the gratitude. And then release your hands and slowly lift your head. Gently allow the eyes to open. Okay, so I thought to start with some introduction. So Atar is here. She will help me. So if she, I don't know, adjust you or correct or anything, she's my student. And she now lives in Berlin. So don't say, don't gossip in German because maybe she'll understand. I will not. And we cannot gossip in Hebrew because we have the guy from Poland that studied Hebrew. So since you are all teachers or future teachers, right? So sometimes I talk in giving like, yes, I hope. If you don't know it, maybe you'll get to know. Sometimes I give motivation for practice, but if you are teachers or going to be teachers, I guess that you have like a regular practice. I hope so. It's, practice is first importance. But then after, we have this discipline of, every day come back to the mat and do the practice. So we have to check the intention. Why we keep doing it? What is the reason? What is the motivation? And sometimes there are hidden motivations, like, many people, they have some kind of motivation, maybe on the background that yoga will make them the body, fit, in good shape, looks nice, and so on. And it can be, kind of motivation. And okay, there's nothing wrong. Of course, it's good to, to take good care of the body. But we have to understand that yoga is not mainly about, it's a byproduct. It's not mainly about it. And recently, as I'm getting older, aging a little bit, some, aging people asking, they feel that they lose become weaker, and they, cardio, lung function or endurance diminishes. So I had some questions like this: if you should make the practice more aerobic and more, like muscle, building muscle strength. So my opinion is that you can do it, of course, but don't mix it with yoga, because yoga is not about it. And if you start to bring this motivation into yoga, it will not be pure. You can do your practice and then you can go jogging, you can go swimming, whatever, but don't try to make the yoga as like a gym, because it's not that. And we have it. Of course, I can recognize it in my students, but I can also recognize this tendency in myself, that sometimes this motivation is there, but whenever I come back to and ask myself, what is the real intention? Why do I practice? And some people, especially in a group, they practice to impress other people, or to post nice photos on Instagram, and so everybody will see how good. So of course, this is also not correct or right motivation for the practice. And so what is the motivation? Why do we practice? And how do we know we are on the right path and we are progressing? So we have to ask ourselves, what are the goals that set out, by the tradition of yoga? And how much what we aim to, our motivation is aligned with this same goals. So Patanjali said Chitta Vritti Yoga, and yoga is about transforming the chitta, the consciousness, and make it more calm, more balanced, more neutral. And it's mainly working on the chitta. So first we have to study the chitta before we can transform. We have to know it. So actually the practice is, this is Kriya Yoga. Patanjali talk about Kriya Yoga. In the second chapter, did you read the sutras? You remember? Yes, no? Yeah. So in the first sutra in the second chapter is Kriya Yoga. What is Kriya Yoga? What are the components of Kriya Yoga? Remember? Somebody want to help me? I just forgot. Okay, I'll help you. It is tapas, svadhyaya, ishvarapanidhana. Okay, it sounds familiar. Okay, so but Kriya Yoga, the meaning of the word Kriya is action. So it means that we study ourselves in action, which is a little bit different, like, when we sit in meditation with closed eyes, we are engaged actively in the practice. But we also observe and study how we function, what are the tendencies. As I said, sometimes hidden tendencies that come up in the practice. And they could be different in a group setting, or like in a class, or in self-practice. The different things come up. That's why it's important also to do self-practice, which is more difficult, but it's more important. It's also important to come to a class, because you meet the teacher, you learn new things, you get inspiration. You meet other people, which is also good, but the different tendencies in the class, we have sometimes maybe tendencies. It could be in two directions. Both are ego, but it could be that how good am I doing? Look at me. We don't say it because we learn not to say it, but I'm so good. We want to, to be the best student in the class. But sometimes the opposite. We said, I'll never be able to do it. It's too hard for me. I cannot do it. So both are just, extra, not necessary. We just do the practice, whatever we can do, whatever is possible for us at the moment, without adding, this kind of voice, inner voice that is actually the ego. Does it make sense? That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So actually, the chitta, when we want to study the chitta, it's an abstract thing. And we don't see the chitta. It's consciousness. It's something, we cannot touch it. So it's, how do we study it? But fortunately, yoga gave us some kind of model, which I think is very helpful. And according to yoga, there are 3 components of the chitta. Maybe you know them, or the 3 components. Atar?
Of ego.
Ego, the ahamkara.
Ego,
manas.
Intelligent.
Intellect, yeah, manas.
And mind.
And buddhi, yes, okay. So we have the 3 parts, and in the practice, we can watch, when we observe, we have to know all these 3 parts. But the part which is we want to develop and we want not to function more is the buddhi, the intelligence. So what are these parts? The manas is what help us to survive. It's a survival instinct. It is communicate between the senses and the organ of actions, and it is the monkey mind. For survival, we need to watch, and the mind is moving very quickly from place to place to try to identify threats or risks, and then to react in time. So the mind is very quick. This part, manas, is quick and is wandering all the time. It is not stable. It doesn't help us to concentrate. And then the ego is what makes us feel different than other people. It's literally ego. Ahamkara is the I maker. Aham is the I, kara is to make. It's the same root of kriya, to action, to make. Ahamkara is what makes me I, what separates me from the external environment or other people. And then, but the buddhi is the most important part, is the one that can make a discernment, the one that can tell us what is right, what is wrong. The manas cannot do it. The manas just functions. But if we want to take like ethical decision, what is, how to behave, what is important for us, what is, valuable, what is good, then it's the buddhi. So in the practice, we meet, how do we meet the ahamkara, because how do we experience this part? Whenever in the practice, there's like the voice, I like this, I don't like this, so this attraction, aversion, and attachments, it's too easy, it's too hard, I'll never be able to do it, yes. I don't like the teacher. I don't like this asana that now we're doing. Or I like it very much, but the I. Yeah. So it would be attachment or aversion, wanting more of this or wanting to push it away. So this is the ahamkara. And the manas is whenever we are restless, we look at the time. What is the time? Or we think about what to do after class. This kind of. And we cannot concentrate. If we practice at home, we go to the cell phone. We all know this, when we practice alone, there is the tendencies of the restlessness, the impatience, that we want to finish the practice. We think about what we have to do after. Oh, it happens only to me, or
Yes.
So this is the manas in action, and we have to recognize this part. It's part of the consciousness. But then, whenever you recognize it, you think, okay, I really want to be with my buddhi. And how to be with the buddhi? The buddhi is the one that make comparison and discernment. So whenever we are absorbed in the asana, when we are in the action, first of all, the sensation. Okay, we are in asana, we get many sensations. And sensations are always here and now. They are not, thinking can be, I can be here and I think about the moon and I think about the star. So the thought is faster than the speed of light, because I can be, the light takes 8 minutes to get with the sun, but I can be with the sun, with my mind. So the mind is very quick. And But when we are with the sensations and with the actions that we do, and luckily we have a lot of instruction in Iyengar Yoga, so we can keep, and then the adjustments. So if, like, for example, we do Adho Mukha Svanasana and we check, the two sides, and we try to make it even, pressure on each end. Just an example, you can sense the buttocks. You don't see the buttocks, but you can feel which one is more prominent, maybe which one is higher, which one is feel wider. You make this comparison and then you make the adjustment. And then you are one with the pose, you're absorbed in the pose and you observe and you correct, and you make your discernment, you decide what to do, which the action, but without, all this chattering at the background. And then it comes back. Again, you find yourself restless or some kind of thinking, interpretation or comment. You comment about, is it good? Maybe it's too tiring. I have to keep some energy for later. I cannot do. We are not with the pose. We are thinking, okay, we know. So again and again, we come back to the body, because this is the one that, this is a part of the mind that we want to develop, and this will give us clarity. And then with the clarity, we get wisdom, and with wisdom, we'll, behave better. We'll judge situations and people in the life in a better way, because we want to reduce suffering. And if our perceptions are not good, we start to develop the perception in yoga by listening to the sensation, by adjusting, but then it has to bring us also better perceptions of situations and people. And then we know how to respond, to everything, to every situation, intuitively. You don't have to think; it will come out of you. So I think this is should be what we aim to, the intention in practice, and not some things, like not just the body. The body is a tool, we use it, and also important that we have a strong and healthy body. But the main, if you read the sources, the tradition of yoga, the Patanjali, the Bhagavad Gita, they talk about equanimity, they talk about the Chitta, the mental faculties. So I just wanted to share with you this introduction. I hope it was not boring. You have any questions or something maybe you want to add? Maybe I'll be able to learn something from you. Yes.
I have a question. You said it should not be so physical or not like in gym, but maybe I think even beginners.
No, well, it's not for beginners. It's not for beginners, because for the beginners, the beginner has to be told what to do. He has to learn the actions and the adjustments, or must be a teacher that correct. But after that, and beginning can be 5-10 years in yoga until you learn all the subtle and intricate instructions. But after that, the practice I think should become more like observation in a playful manner, in a creative manner, not just to go by the rules. You have to feel and to know what is good for you at every moment. It can change from day to day. So the reason that I write about the props a lot, because I think it can help people, but the props can also make the practice more interesting, more playful, more creative. So I just give some ideas in my books, but I hope that the practitioner, the readers, will take this example and will invent new ways, because it's infinite. You can always invent something new. So I think in every session of the practice, you have to learn something. If not about your Chitta, at least about, the asanas, something new. Now, Guruji, in the Tree of Yoga, he said that every practice is looking for what is new. He doesn't bring yesterday experience to today. He wants to say what new, something new can come today. So it's open-minded. That's how we got, to all these instructions and observations. Okay, more questions? Oh, no comments, maybe. Because I'd like to hear what you think, what you How does it resonance to you? Don't be shy.
And it's nice that it's not body, it's booty building.
Booty, yeah, booty.
That's
In the back of my T-shirt, Melanie just reminded me because I don't see my back. He said, "What does it say, Atar?
I don't work out, I work in.
Oh, don't work out." In English, it's workout is double meaning. Is work to do a workout. So you work in.